All right, so the New Balance Fresh Foam X 1080 V13 is the latest and greatest version of the Fresh Foam X line, and in my opinion, might be one of the best, most comfortable sneakers to drop this year, even though it dropped like in the third quarter. But I wanted to go ahead and give some of the other products to try that New Balance offers because they do have a cheaper model that's only 70 bucks. This one actually is 165, which is a little bit out of reach for some people because of the price point. So this is the Arishi V4 and $70 retail versus $165 retail. Also, I wanted to try their lowest price offering for the Fresh Foam X sneaker line, and that is this pair right here, the Evos. So I wanted to kind of compare the Evos at $100 to the Arishi for $70 to more or less the flagship and my favorite version, the 1080 V13. So let's go ahead and compare these three models and let you guys know which is my favorite one out of the group. Is it a value buy at 70 bucks or should you stick to these? If you guys do want to buy any of these that I'm going to be talking about in this video, please use the links in the description. It'll take you over to New Balance's website. You can check out the different offerings that they have over there, any sales that they might have on some of the lower tiered models as well. But if you do use my links, it does give me a little bit of a kickback and it lets New Balance know that you guys saw the channel and greatly appreciate it when you guys do that. Let's go ahead and switch cameras and get more of a close-up view. All right, so here's a look at the three different shoes that we have right here. So this is the very first version right here. This is the Arishi, as I mentioned. $70 retail on this pair, and it looks really nice, to be honest. And if you've never tried any of the other pairs on, you're gonna try this pair on and go, dude, these are amazing. Like 70 bucks, these things are actually really good. The value's there. You can get them on sale in certain colorways for I think 55 bucks right now on New Balance's website. Again, I'll link those in the description, but Fresh Foam on the midsole. So this is not Fresh Foam X. So this is kind of like the earlier version before they had Fresh Foam X, but you can see it's very soft still in this midsole. Probably the softest version of Fresh Foam, honestly. Sometimes they'll have Fresh Foam X branding like on this one right here. This is the Evos, and it is pretty good, but not anywhere near as soft as the 1080 V13. So very interesting that they have the name convention of Fresh Foam X, but it is way, way softer on this version. So I don't know how or why they do that. It's not just New Balance that does this. There's other brands that do the same thing where just the naming convention doesn't actually match the product, or it's not the same in every single product offering that they have, even though it does have the same name. But here's a look at the backs of all three models. Again, this is the cheaper version, and then you move your way on to the $100 version, and now you have the flagship 1080. Now just to note, the Arishi V4 does weigh about 9.5 ounces, and then the Fresh Foam X Evos weighs 9.7 ounces. Meanwhile, the Fresh Foam X V13 weighs in at 9.3 ounces. And I do have a little foam density checker here. It's not 100% accurate, so it is what it is, but I did want to give these a test and see. Looks like about a 29 or 30 on the cheapest pair. These are about a 33, 34. So it is a little bit more firm on the Evos than it is on the Arishis, so kind of interesting there. And then the flagship's about 27 or so, so much softer on this one. The second softest would be on the lowest tier, and then the third softest would be on the middle tier. So as for sizing of all three of these models, I went true to size. I'm a 9.5. I got a 9.5 in all of them, and I would say they do fit appropriate. I did get the standard versions. They do offer wide versions and extra wide versions. However, I don't get the wide versions for Fresh Foam. I only get the wide versions for Fuel Cell. Fuel Cell is kind of the faster racing foam, and usually it's a little bit more narrow. These ones offer a pretty nice amount of width in here, considering this is the standard version, but they do have wide and extra wide, as I mentioned. Now this colorway I actually really like. You do have a little bit of this heathered gray on the tongue. Pretty nice material actually there as well. And then you do have a little bit more of that on the heel cup of the shoe. The mesh is pretty standard. It is fairly generic. It is like an engineered mesh. It's very lightweight, very breathable though as well. I was walking around outside with no socks on for a second, and I was like, oh, I could feel all of the air through these things. So the wind does travel through. It's definitely noticeable in hand that these are the $70 version when you have the other two out here to compare. But if you, again, just have these by themselves, it looks just like pretty much a standard nice pair of New Balance running sneakers. So is there value on this base model? For 70 bucks, I would say yes. I mean, honestly, you get a really nice package. The comfort is there on the midsole. They do offer wide and extra wide versions for those people that need it. The traction's pretty good on here as well. The extra padding on the top of the tongue is nice. The collar padding is fairly minimal, and the mesh in general is fairly minimal as well. But overall, it's a pretty nice pair, and considering you can get two pairs of these for less than the price of one of these, I mean, if you're looking for value, you want to be introduced into the New Balance ecosystem in a nice, comfortable way, this is definitely a pair that you can go and try on and be proud of the 70 bucks that you spent, or 55 bucks or whatever, to actually get this one. Now, is it the best offering out here? I would say absolutely not, because the 1080 V13 is goated. Like, it's insanely good comparison. So is there a noticeable difference between the cheapest version and the most expensive version? Absolutely. When you put them on feet, you notice immediately the difference. The soft, squishy nature of the 1080 V13s is unmatched by any of the other Fresh Foam models at this time that I've tried on my feet. And that's just because, again, they reformulated this Fresh Foam. Even from the V12 and the V11s, the V11s and 12s were actually pretty good as well, but the V13s, again, just way softer underfoot and incredibly nice on feet. Just I personally love that feeling. Now, this is just my opinion. Some people might not want such crazy soft, squishy feel. I mean, honestly, the squish factor that you feel in the V13s here is about double what you feel, at least in my feet, on what you get from the Fresh Foam, the base Fresh Foam, instead of the Fresh Foam X on the V13s. So the 1080 V13s, again, their flagship runner. It's like if they could create one running sneaker, this would be it. The mesh on the upper is pretty standard as well, but comparison to the cheaper mesh on the lower tiered model, I mean, it is noticeable on feet that this is a higher quality, like, engineered mesh than the Orisha V4. So what happens when you go from the $70 version to the $100 version? Is it worth paying the extra for the $100 version of the Evos? I think that it's a pretty good model, to be honest, and it mimics very closely to what the 1080 V13 looks like right here. It's very similar looking in nature, but overall experience on feet, it's uncomparable again. Like, the 1080 V13 just feels amazing comparison to these. How do these, though, stack up next to the lower tiered version? I'd say that the midsole is a little bit bigger, obviously. However, it is a little bit firmer version of the Fresh Foam X in my mind. Honestly, in hand, squishing both of these shoes next to each other, the Orisha Fresh Foam does feel softer to me than the Fresh Foam X does on the Evos, which is an interesting thing, because I would think Fresh Foam X just in general is softer, and that's my experience again with the flagship. So odd that this is firmer than the other ones in my mind, but it still does offer a nice amount of cushioning. And when you put these on, again, if you have nothing else to compare it to, then you're gonna be like, dude, these are crazy. Like, the cushioning is really good, and the overall build quality is pretty decent as well. I would say that the tongue is a little bit thinner on this pair, as you can see here, than the more flagship, more premium version of the 1080 V13s. A lot more pleasure here, as well as on the collar. Some like the extra padding there, you don't have as much on this version. However, this padding is a little bit better than the $70 version back here. So it's like a slow tiering up. They did a good job just like slowly elevating the materials to let you know that you are getting something a little bit more premium. And that's something that I actually appreciate. Like, I like that you have something that is priced differently on 3 different models, and you can actually tell that there's a visible difference between the 3 different models. Like you have a little bit more premium details on the end here, versus this one is a little bit, it's just like fused on. This is like a thicker material that's fused on. Then you have a 3M reflective version on the 1080 V13s, and then also the piping around here is nice and reflective as well. Small little details and upgrades with the heel cushioning as well, and the overall comfortability of the shoes just gets better and better as you go. I would definitely say the mesh slowly improves on the versions as well. Again, the lower tiered version, definitely the $70 version. I will say though that the 1080 V13 upper is not as good in my opinion as the Hypo Knit from the 12s and the 11s and stuff. I like that stretchy knit material. Some people might like this a little bit better. It might be more durable over time, but I do like the overall premium nature of what the previous versions offered. Unfortunately, they did kind of change it and make it a little bit more streamlined. So which shoes should you buy if these are the 3 options? Honestly, it's going to depend on budget, and I know that there's like a stigma to a lot of people's pocketbooks to not spend over $100 on a pair of sneakers. So in my opinion, if you don't want to spend $100 on a pair of sneakers, I do like the Evos, but honestly, the Orisha is like a better buy in my opinion. You save 30 bucks, you get a pretty soft, comfortable pair of sneakers. Yes, the mesh is not as good, but overall comfort on these is actually quite nice. For the $70 price point that you're getting a nice, lightweight, overall very comfortable pair of sneakers. Kind of like a knocked down version of the Fresh Foam line, which is exactly what it is at an affordable price point of $70, which you can get them as low as like 55 bucks again right now. So pretty decent deal on these. And I'm pretty sure if you get these, you're going to be like, dude, they're actually really, really good. I really like what they offer. For the $100 price point, I feel like the Evos is like okay. You can get these, I think, on sale as low as $80 right now, which is not terrible. But honestly, this would be a skip for me. I'd rather get the Fuel Cell Rebel V3s in the wide version instead of the standard. And those ones would be about $104 or so, $108 I saw on sale. That's a better buy in my opinion than these. Those are way more comfortable, a lot more lightweight, a lot more breathable, and you have the Fuel Cell line, which is a lot softer as well in general. So I would say for the price point of close to $100, get the Fuel Cell Rebel V3s, and I have a couple videos on those as well if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel. But if you want to pay out the money, 165 is what these are going to cost you. And if you like softer, you want something that's a little bit better build quality and just an overall like better pair of sneakers, these definitely offer a more premium feel than what these ones offer. You feel like as soon as you put them on, the build quality from the inside of the shoe, the outside of the shoe, the extra detailings on the upper, even though this is a triple black colorway, the piping and stuff is nice. All in all, like everything on the upper is a little bit better on here, but the main star of the show is this midsole. If you want something that's softer and squishier on feet, this one is unbelievably good. I just did a video on like top sneakers for like Disney World or Disneyland and stuff or vacation. This would have been probably top 2, top 3 on that list because it is incredibly, incredibly soft and good on feet. It's just a lot of nice cushioning in here. If you don't like soft and squishy, you just want something a little bit more balanced, then either of the other two options are going to be maybe even better for you. But if you do like softer and squishier feel and you just want to have like the overall comfort, there's no break-in period or anything like that with these. It's just insane when you put them on. These things are goated in my opinion, just super, super good. And the 1080 line is definitely the one that brought me to New Balance in general. I tried the 1080 V10s back in the day with the Fresh Foam X and I was like just blown away. They've improved upon it year over year. This one is the best offering for my feet at least. Soft, squishy, overall great comfort, decent build construction on the upper as well, a nice plush collar. And overall, again, this one is just worth the 165 if you want to pony up the extra to pay it. If you don't, I'd say Fuel Cell Rebel V3 is the next best thing at 104. And if you only want to spend $55 to $70 on a pair, these are definitely nice. And again, you used to trying on Dunks or Jordans. You put these on, you're going to be like, dude, these are like way more comfortable than any Dunks, Jordans that you've tried on. And leave a comment in the comment section. Do you guys have these? Leave some pros and cons in the comment section for those people that have bought these. The reviews are in on their website, and a lot of people really, really like this shoe. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section. What do you guys think? Have you guys tried any of the Fuel Cell line from New Balance? Which is your favorite model? There's a ton of other ones. Obviously, the Fresh Foam X More, the Vongos. I've done a review on a couple of those already, but I wanted to compare the lower tier to the upper tier and let you guys know my thoughts. The upper tier is definitely supreme in my mind. If you guys want to see a review of these comparison to my favorite Fuel Cell model, which the Rebels are actually nice, but it's not my favorite. The favorite for me is the Fuel Cell Super Comp Trainer 2s. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a video comparison between these to the SC Trainer 2s because they're like head-to-head my two favorite shoes from New Balance for comfort, and I feel like there's a lot of great offerings there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, drop a like on the video. If you guys want to buy any of these that I mentioned again in the video, if you guys do use my links, greatly appreciated in the description. But hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day, and thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Have a good one. See you guys.